Hello, hello, happy Sunday. Welcome back. This is the next part of my Coyote Sunset oil painting. Happy Sunday. And I get to work here. I'll move the camera over. See where I am on this painting. Flower. So I kind of put another coat on of the sky a couple days ago and sort of blended it a little bit more so it has more of a soft feel to it. So now I need to work on the background a little bit and kind of develop some details in these areas and kind of move the painting along, and then eventually I'll let that dry and then really focus on the coyote as much as possible and try to make that look as real as possible. All right, so now we start with white. I want to sort of define these hills back here a little bit more again. I kind of lost them when I painted the sky. So let me put those in. Some white, some crimson red, a little bit of blue. Crimson red. And a bluish color. I use, what do I have here? I'm using ultramarine blue. Kind of like an out of space type blue color. It's a nice color. And so let me see if I can find the right brush. Cheap brush, maybe a little. This one, maybe this one here. Use a little bit of alkyd medium. Help make the paint flow a little bit better and dry a little bit faster. Tiny bit of that, not more than 25% medium to paint. And I'll mix. I want to put this first hill back here. I want to reestablish that hill back there. I'm going to take some red, crimson-y red, blue. This painting is kind of an abstract, so I'm not going to gray the colors down too much. I'm going to keep the colors kind of bright looking. All right, so I'm just going to reestablish this hill back here. I want it just a little bit darker than what I have on there. See, I sort of tested it right there, and that's a little bit too bright. So I go over it a little there. And I'm gonna make the top of them a little bit darker and then a little bit lighter as it goes down. So, putting some bumps in the top just to give it a little bit of character to it. Like that. And kind of check it out. I want it to stand out against the sky a little bit more. It's a little bit brighter than the sky. Mix that with some white. Make a little bit of a lighter version of that color that I just put on, and kind of go along the bottom of this up to the next layer of hills. This way, there's going to be a little bit of a separation between the two hills. It gives a little bit of a depth. Got a little bit of a separation in there now. And go there. All right, so I'll sort of wipe that brush off a little. And go to where they come together and sort of blend that together. No separation there. Just a little wiggly stroke to blend. That gives us that layer there. Now I'm going to darken the color and kind of match what's on here already there in terms of value. Fill that in maybe a little. I don't want it too dark because then it's not going to look far away. Make it too dark. A little brighter. Whatever I have there. And get the color right. That's a little bit too blue right in there. My flavor. I have enough medium in it, so it moves on. There. And so I'm gonna put a little hill right there, give a little bit of character there. And I'm going to do sort of the same thing I did in the top one, just kind of lighten it as it goes lower. Take a lighter version of that same color, and I put it in here in the bottom. I'm going to change this up here, this angle right here. Going that way a little bit more. Yeah, so it'll just kind of wiggle it to blend back and forth. Bring it sideways. I kind of want a little bit lighter in the bottom, more white. More white right in there. I'll use a different brush to blend so it's not tainted with the dark color already. Okay, I think that looks pretty good there. I want to, but I sort of forgot to do, I want to put a sun right in there. So to do that, I'm going to grab a dime and kind of trace a sun. So I'll be right back for that. Pencil sharpen, nice and sharp. Nice and sharp so it makes a nice straight tip. And we paint my fingers. Put it where I want my sun to be and kind of put an outline around it. There's a little round line there we can follow. Take a drop of medium, emphasize the word drop. Yeah, so I fill in where I want that to be. where there's a line there, where I put that line there, to outline it, I'm just gonna kind of cover it just slightly, just so it doesn't show up so abruptly. I'm still keeping the basic shape of what I'm doing here. Blend it out as much as possible. That's it. Now there. Trying to get the paint on thick enough so it's opaque. I want an opacity to it. Yeah, I don't want too much of the yellow underneath to show through. Clean. I want to reestablish this hill back here. Lighter. Make sure the colors mixed properly. Don't want it to be any streaks into it. Okay, so that's that for that part. Now I want to work on some of these background parts, so let me go grab another plate to work off of. For that layer, I think I was using burnt umber and raw sienna. If I remember properly. Some raw sienna, I don't need too much. Burnt umber. mix sort of like a mix sort of a dark version and a light version of the same color. So this will be the lighter version. Pile of that right there. And I'll take the same color, make a darker version of that. The darker part. Now I'll just kind of go over this a little bit and sort of put in a couple details here and there. A little bit of character. It doesn't have to be too detailed because it's distant. Not filling in every little spot, just kind of putting something going on that back there. Not too much yellow and white into it, it's going to chalk it up. White and chalky color. Over here, a little bit of a darker version of what I just put on. Spread that around there a little bit. A little bit of a background going on back there, a little bit more. It's real simple here, you know, not too complicated. All right, so now I'll go into the darker version of the same paint I just mixed. I'll start over here and start putting some background things back there. Give it a little bit of feel of something going on back there, you know. I make the shapes just a little bit bigger as it gets closer, like that. All right, now back the very furthest part away, I want to sort of blend that a little bit more. It looks a little bit more distant. I can blend that up into the little layer I'm creating. Same thing over here. Very subtle. It gives a little bit of a feeling of it's far away. Just by doing that just a little bit. And I'll take a little bit of sap green. I want to put a little bit of vegetation going on back there, just a tiny bit. So it gives a little bit of detail off in the distance. Sap green, a little bit of the brown I just mixed. Tiny little touch of blue in it. a couple dabs over there. Let's get a little bit of a feel of something back there. Tiny bit here and there, that's all. Too much detail. I can drag it a little bit in places just to smooth it out a little. All right, so that's a distant part of that picture there. Come a little bit bigger here in the foreground. A little bit of depth there. All right, so that's that part. Now this thing over here, I sort of like how that looks. I think I'll sort of pick up a couple more darks there and there just to put a little bit more of a punch to it. A little green, leave a little Van Dyke brown for that. Van Dyke. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of dab in some dark color there just to make it pop a little bit more. Pop slightly more, especially on the bottom. Break up that area there. And this area looks kind of weird in here. A little bit of yellow for that. Green. Sort of want it to be a little bit more of a transition into this side better. Notice it transitioning well. Take some of this darker paint and sort of bring that over a little bit more that way. So it kind of flows from the other side a little bit better. So now it's sort of, it's like it's coming from the other side better. So it gets lighter over the other side. Transition to occur there, a little bit more yellow over here. darker up in there. There we go. And plus that will make the coyote stand out a little bit better too, which is a good thing. Smooth transition. Okay. That there. Now I want to work on this part here. Actually, let me highlight some of that a little bit more too from here. A little bit of green and sort of tap. Bring that to life a little bit better. It's going to be, the sun's going to be hitting it, so it has to be some brightness right there. A little bit of brightness down there too. That, now, I want to sort of detail some of these little sticks and stuff sticking up here. Black and white. Oops. Black and white. Drop a medium. I'll make a dark gray. Let's let it start to feel some of these little twiggy things back in here. Twiggies. So it starts to add some details in the picture. I don't want to way overdo it. I do want some details in here. I don't want millions of them either. And it makes the picture look a little bit too complicated. The thicker ones I'll kind of put down at the bottom. I believe they deliver livery trucks on Sunday. It's kind of weird. God forbid they take a day off to relax. So all shapes down. And here, just kind of some stuff going on down there. Make it look a little bit more interesting. There's twigs and whatever. So that gives us some trees and stuff, twigs and whatever. So now I'm going to put like a lighter color of that. Highlight it a little bit, get some white. Some white. Lucid renditions art. Hello. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on. AKA Christina. Trying to thin a gray color so I can put another layer of those twigs on there. Give that a little bit of depth inside those twigs. You get the value right and the consistency. A little bit too thin. Try this, see what happens. In the dark areas, I want to put in a couple of these light, twiggy things there. It's the same thing I just did with the dark, but light over the dark. Where you just want to put one in there. Sometimes you can just make them thick a little bit. Yeah, they don't have to be all really thin. They don't have to be completely thin all the time. It just gives that area a little bit of feeling of depth, so it's not all stagnant looking. It's a little lighter than I want it to be eventually, but as it dries, it will kind of dull anyway, so I'll just leave it. When it's really too bright, then I'll sort of just go over it a little. It's almost like you want to try to create an area that's sort of complicated looking a little bit. So you sort of confuse the viewer into thinking it's a bunch of twigs and stuff. It goes over here, it's going to get a little darker, a little grayer. And dark over here. I should put any light color back under there, but right now, a couple of these twigs I put up here, I want to highlight them slightly. Looks like the sun is hitting them. Just a tiny bit here and there. Not too much. You're too big, and just blend them out a little bit. Sort of straight lines. Make that area there just a little bit darker. I don't want so much of this stuff. The eye more over here where the sun is hitting. So blend that out a little bit. All right, so that gives us the feel of some twigs and things going on there. Now I want to kind of brighten this area so it looks like the sun's kind of hitting that right there. So let me take a little bit more white. Right back, I need another plate. Kind of increase some of that highlight right there. White again. I'm painting, use white a lot. A little bit of Racia. Make a light color. A light color. I'm going to sort of put the paint on kind of thick too. I'm putting the paint on thick with texture that makes it look brighter. My goal right here is to brighten this area. That's it. That's all I have to do right there. Just to bring that to life a little bit more. Don't overdo. Don't overdo. Okay, so that's done. Need some more raw. And now I want to work on this area. So let me get this up. I'll work on some of these rocks and whatever's going on there. I'll grab all my earth tones. I'll grab my raw sienna. I'll grab my burnt sienna, burnt umber. A little bit of variety going on there. A little bit of brown. Pull it off a little. I think I need to get a coffee can to wash my brushes. When you use this thing right here, this is a nice thing to wash your brushes because it has like a screen in it and you can put the paint thinner in there, but the bad thing about it is this moves around all over the place and it keeps falling out. So the coffee can, it stays down in there. That's what I need to get. Okay, so I'm going to define my darks here initially. I use almost all Van Dyke brown, which is the darkest brown. I want to get this kind of detail because it's in the foreground. Let's take straight Van Dyke brown. You could also put black into it if you want it to be really dark, but I don't think I'm going to make it that dark. 25% alkyd medium into it. And right in here, I want it darker. The places I want it darkest, that's where I'm going to address right now. So right here, I want it darkest. Nice dark right up in here. With the alkyd medium, you have to kind of work a little bit fast because it tends to dry kind of fast. So it's got to be kind of aware of that. It's not going to dry in 2 seconds, but it will dry. Maybe in like a half an hour from now, it's going to be pretty dry. Sort of shaping the rocks a little bit too, so this kind of comes down. Kind of goes down that way. Gives that a little bit better shape. What I'm doing is I'm shaping the rocks and adding darks, shadows. Dark behind the coyote. Gives it a little bit of a shadow behind him. And within the rocks, little knickknacks and stuff like that in there. Using a very small detail round for this. I'm gonna make those little shapes and whatnot. Okay, so now I'm gonna wash that brush. Wash that brush now that I went to my brightest bright. I'll take medium white or sienna, red sienna, more raw sienna than burnt sienna because raw sienna is a lot less strong. Well, this isn't my brightest bright because it's pretty bright. Let's probably say to the brightest bright to the very end. So, like right in here, you have some of this color here. And I'm not mixing it too much with the paint I just put on there. That's why I washed the brush, because I want it to be a little bit distinct from what I just put on there. Shape that a little better. Like round, so it looks like a boulder. Not blending too much at all. Sometimes I let the grain of the canvas give me a little bit of a feeling of like rock formations too, just by like that. Less bright over here. Let that sort of taper in that direction. So, got that going on there. One thing you do is let it dry between layers if you want to really get it good. I don't have to because I'm working on the alkyd paint. It's sort of drying as I'm working on it. All right, so now I want to take a little black. Put in a couple gray tones in there, here and there. Tiny bit of black, a little lamp black. And that's going to kind of give it a little bit of variety, and it's going to kind of help it mesh with this color that's in here too. Mix up some gray. And this color is completely different than what I just put on, so that's going to give a little bit of realistic look. Just drag that on there. Shape some of the rocks with it just a little bit here and there. I'll wash that brush. I'll go into straight for a number. Here's a different color. Here and there, I'm going to indicate some of that color in there. Burn number. That color I just put on is almost dry already. Sometimes when you work with an alkyd medium, when I put a little bit of walnut oil to sort of slow it down a little bit too. So sometimes it can dry a little bit too fast. All right, now I'm going to go into a lighter color. Lighter color. Make a higher white, higher highlight. Let me see. Test it to see if it sticks. It sticks right there pretty good. I don't get too crazy with this. Just want to kind of put it here and there. Shape it a little. Shape a little bit abstract. I even brighten it a little bit more after it dries. I like the sun's coming down there. Don't want to move it too around too much. It's tempting to make it too bright. So I'll leave that like that right now. Over. Blend it down just a bit. I'm kill all my darks. If I keep playing with it, I'm going to mess up my darks. Okay, so all right, so that's the painting for today. I'm just going to stop right here. I want to over blend and blend it all together and screw it up. So leave it here for today, and I hope everybody has a very happy Sunday and take it easy this week, and see you next time. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Thank you.